What is up, coconuts? It's Eliza, and in this video I'm going to be talking about why I don't set New Year's resolutions. I want to just preface by saying I'm not trying to say that New Year's resolutions are bad or that you shouldn't set them or anything like that. They just haven't really worked for me, and I wanted to sort of give my perspective on that and my experience with it and why I'm not a fan of them. But obviously they do work for lots of people, so if they work for you, awesome, continue setting them, but they just don't work for me. And I've seen tons and tons of posts recently, obviously because New Year's just happened, so I've seen lots of YouTube videos, lots of Instagram posts, lots of blog posts, and yeah, just wanted to make a video kind of playing devil's advocate and sharing a slightly different perspective on the topic. So I'm just kind of going to jump right in and start off with the main reason that I don't like New Year's resolutions is because I would rather be always bettering myself and every day trying to be a better version of myself than I was the day before, and having it be a constant process and a constant flow versus a once a year reset. To me, it's sort of like repenting for your sins in a way. People are like, well, I can, screw up and then just go and confess and then clean slate. I don't really see it that way. It's like, rather than, what was that? My building is very old and potentially haunted. Anyway, rather than, feeling like, oh, I'll screw up and then January 1st I'll start fresh, I'd rather be always working on starting fresh every single day. And that kind of goes into my next point on the subject, which is, why is January 1st the time to make changes for yourself? If there's a change that you want to make in your life, why not start today? Because a lot of people plan their New Year's resolutions ahead. They start kind of thinking about them in November or early December. If it's a change that you really want to implement, you're going to start it today. And that's kind of the thing is, if you're willing to push that goal off until January 1st, do you really want that goal? Then kind of segueing on that, what would happen for me when I would set resolutions that I was going to start January 1st, I would often kind of get into this pattern of sort of binging on whatever it was that I was going to change. So let's say I was going to try to give up ice cream. That was never a resolution of mine, but let's say it was going to be to give up ice cream. Then the build up to January 1st, I'd be, kind of scrambling to cram in all the goods before I cut myself off cold turkey. And so I'd spend all of December eating tons and tons of ice cream or tons and tons of whatever else it was that I was cutting out. And I would have like, definitely something in here. Hey Siri, add sage to my shopping list.
You don't have a shopping list. Shall I create one?
Yes, and put sage on it. Sometimes I would set a resolution that I'm going to start going to the gym X number of days a week. And so for like the whole month of December, I wouldn't go to the gym at all because I'd be like slothing it up. That just is so counterproductive, and it's also going to make the change January 1st a lot more drastic and a lot more difficult to implement in your life, because suddenly for like the last few weeks, I keep saying you, and by you I mean I'm just talking about my experience. I'm not trying to say that this applies to everyone, this is just what's happened for me, but I would find that it would make the change so much harder, and then January 1st I'd be really missing whatever it was. I'd miss lazing around on the couch, I'd miss ice cream, and it would just be a lot harder, and then a lot harder to keep that goal, which is kind of the other reason that I don't like New Year's resolutions, is that they are hard to keep. Now, I should clarify, when I'm talking about resolutions, I'm not talking about like vague general resolutions like, oh, this year I'm gonna be healthier. I'm talking more about resolutions that are action based. So I'm going to go to the gym 5 days a week. I'm going to go vegan, just to clarify. Anyway, those goals are hard to achieve. It is hard to make a new habit in your life or to stop an old habit. It's not something that can typically be done overnight, and lots of New Year's resolutions have a very cold turkey kind of aspect to them, which for me just didn't work. When I make changes in my life, I personally much prefer them to be kind of like waves. I like things to kind of come and go, and New Year's resolutions are very abrupt in most cases. People are not usually like, oh yeah, so my New Year's resolution is that for the first week of January I'm gonna taper in this and then I'm gonna taper in that. It's usually I'm gonna do XYZ, and that for me just isn't something that works for me. And most of the time when I have made changes in my life, such as, going, I'm not completely vegan, but going to a largely vegan diet was gradual. I kind of just sort of phased meat out, and suddenly I was like, wow, it's been like 4 or 5 months and I haven't had any meat. I guess I'm a vegetarian now. And it was just a lot easier to implement it that way. And obviously that doesn't work for everyone. Some people like cold turkey. For me, it doesn't work. So then kind of segueing off the point about New Year's resolutions being difficult to maintain, which they are, they just, and again, I keep saying people and you, and I'm referring to my own experience. You're not always realistic when you set New Year's resolutions. Your circumstances also can change. So what was a realistic goal at the beginning of the year could suddenly no longer be realistic because you got laid off. You had to move. And it's not your fault. It's not because you're lazy or unmotivated. It's just because life happens. And regardless of what it is, I keep saying you, when I would have things that would make me unable to complete my resolutions or that would throw me off, I'd be really hard on myself about it. And I think lots of people are when they drop or fail at their resolutions. And then what would happen for me is once I would get a little bit sidetracked, I'd miss a week at the gym, I'd miss a week on whatever diet I'd set for myself, and then I'd miss maybe another week and then another one, and then I'd be like, all right, F this, I'm waiting till next year. And then it could be like January 15th and I'd be already on the track to giving up because I'd already derailed and I feel like why bother continuing now? It's good to dream big, but for me, I find that it's better to dream big and break that dream down into bite-sized pieces. And rather than looking off into the sunset and saying, oh my gosh, my dream is all the way out there, seeing, okay, in order to get there, I gotta get here. So this week, I'm gonna do XYZ to get me right here. And then next week, I'm gonna do XYZ to get me here. And that for me works a lot better. Anyway, I wanted to throw this different perspective out there just because I have seen so many posts recently and so many videos about why you should like New Year's resolutions and why you should keep them and should make them and should set them. So I wanted to make a video saying that if you are not into New Year's resolutions and you are in the self-help, self-improvement, healthy living, be your best you kind of space, it is okay to not be into New Year's resolutions because they definitely don't work for everyone. So yeah, just kind of an unpopular opinion sort of video. But I hope you found it interesting. I hope you liked hearing about my thoughts on the subject. If you did, please drop a comment about your thoughts. Maybe if you like setting New Year's resolutions or if you don't, I'd love to hear why you feel either way. Let me know in the comments. And also, give it a big thumbs up and subscribe. And same thing, if you hated this video, please give a big thumbs up and subscribe. And also check out my Instagram, which I will link down below and I'll also put right here. Thank you so much for watching and I will see you in the next video. Bye!